Once again, it's time for expressing our love and devotion to Bhagavan and for each other as well. And I welcome you this morning as we join to offer praises to Bhagavan. For those of you who are joining us online, welcome as well. And for our regulars here, a warm welcome. It's a bit on the cold side this morning, so we need to make the best use of the time that we've got. The class fans, we join in our opening prayer. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Amsritanam Bharatam Devaki Paramaham Krishnam Vande Jagadagurum Om Adakshe Varadevi Akshare Brahmavadi Gayatri Jagadanmata Vishnuyoni Namaste Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsavitarvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsavitarvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsavitarvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Trayambakam Yajamane Sugandhim Pushtivaram Urvarukmavandamam Nidhayomukshyamamam Om Prithvi Tvayadhritaloka Devi Kam Vishnu Akratam Kamsadharyamam Devi Avitram Kuru Chasam Om Shri Prithvi Maka Vyomavaha Namami
Sitaram.
Om Apavitra Pavitro Sarvashtangato Yashmari Pundarikaksham Samaya Bhayantara Suchiyo Mastrakshalanam Samarvyami Govindaya Namah Om Amrito Vastarmasi Swaha Om Amrita Pidhamasi Swaha Om Satyam Yasha Shrimai Shri Shayatam Swaha Asprakshalanam Samarpyami Govindaya Namah Om Kushmule Sato Brahma Kushmadye Janardana Kusagre Sankram Devam Kusharam Karo Mayam Lisa Om Yena Badmo Baliraja Danindro Mahabala Tetvam Prativadnami Raksha Machala, water in the left hand. We'll ask everyone to join us now in the purificatory rites. Touch first the lips. Om Vangamase Asunos Om Nasurve Pranastu eyes Om Aksharo Me Chakshurastu ears Om Karnyo Me Shrotramastu arms Om Bahur Me Balmastu thighs Om Urvu Me Ujuastu all over Om Arishtani Me Angani Dhanustanva Me Swaha Santu. Alright, with rice in the hand now, we'll join in the Swasti Vacha, the benediction mantras. Om Hari Om Swastena Indro Vrinasrava Swastina Pusha Vishwaveda Swastena Starshu Arishtadeni Swastino Brihaspati Dadhatu Om Vaya Prithivyam Vaya Ushadishu Vayo Divyantarikshe Vayodha Vayaswati Prarisha Santomyaham Om Vishnu Varatmasi Vishnu Shakrishnu Vishnu Sivasi Vishnu Dhruasi Vishnamasi Vishnave Tavam Om Anir Devata Vatu Devata Surya Devata Chandra Devata Vasu Devata Rudra Devata Aditya Devata Marutu Devata Vishnu Deva Devata Brihaspati Devata Indra Devata Varu Devata Om Yav Shantir Antarikshavam Shanti Prithvi Shantir Apa Shantir Aushadaya Shantir Vanaspatya Shantir Vishwadeva Shantir Brahma Shantir Sarvam Shantir Shantireva Shantir Sama Shantirevi Om Vishwani Deva Savitarni Parasva Yad Bhadram Kanasva Om Shuklam Varnam Deva Shashi Varanam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Varanam Jai Sarvigno Vashanti Om Shanti 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 Kalabhavantu Friends, Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu. We'll consecrate our Vedi now. Om Bhurasri Bhumirasri Ditirasri Viswadhaya Viswasya Bhurasya Dhatri Prithvi Acha Prithvi Trigona Prithvi Mahi Gom Sah Prem Swasya Prithvi Mata ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu. The flowers in the hand now. We meditate on Ganesha, Ganesha who's Vigneshwar, remover of obstacles, giver of success, storehouse of wisdom. We ask Bhagavan may inspire us from within with knowledge, intelligence, wisdom, to recognize our challenges and the ability to overcome them as well. For this, Ganesha, we join in humble supplications. Om Gajananam Bhutadhanadi Sevatam Jumbo Malachaya Vakshanam Umasikam Shokanashikayam Namami Vishwaradharatam Om Ye Hiram Mahesha Putra Samasta Vigno Bhavinasha Raksha Mangala Puja Pratamam Bhavanam Grana Puja Bhagavan Namaste Om Sarvamangala-Mangale Shive Sarva-Prasadine Sharane Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namastute Sri Ganeshaya Namaha Namami Sri Gauri Mata Vyo Namaha Namami.
Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Mata Jaki Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesh Deva, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Mata Jaki Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesh Deva. नटवन के भोग लगे संत करे सेवा, संत करे सेवा। नटवन के भोग लगे संत करे सेवा। जय गणेश देवा, जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा। माता जाति पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश देवा। एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी, चार भुजाधारी। मालिक सिंदूर प्रभु मुख के सवारी, मुख के सवारी। खुशियों के दुख भरे पवन गणेश देवा माता जाति पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश देवा आंगन को आंख देता निर्जन को माया निर्जन को माया बाजन के पुत्र देता कुरियन को काया कुरियन को काया भाव से पार करो नाथ भजन करो तेरा जय गणेश देवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाति पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश देवा जो तेरा ध्यान करे ज्ञान मिले उसको ज्ञान मिले उसको छोड़ तुझे और भला जाऊं मैं किसको जाऊं मैं किसको देवा करो तेरा भजन करो तेरा जय गणेश देवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाति पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश देवा नदुवन के भोग लगे संत करे सेवा संत करे सेवा नदुवन के भोग लगे संत करे सेवा जय गणेश देवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाति पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश देवा जय गणेश देवा जय गणेश देवा
The clasp hands now, we glorify Bhagavan as Shri Ganesh. Om Jai Ganapati Sarvibhuta Sadam Avivarvadana Kripa Sringaram Mangalakaram Jai Jai Girijaram Om Raksha Ganesh Gauri Devi Swastana Parameshwari पूजा करिष्यामि त्वं सदा सम्मुखो भव प्रेम से गौरी गणेश भगवान की जय शरणं प्रभु We offer salutations now to Mahalakshmi, Lakshmi the dispenser of prosperity, of wealth, of health, of beauty, of fortune. Most importantly, in Hindu philosophy, light is a symbol of wisdom as opposed to darkness, which symbolizes ignorance. As we join in offering our praises today, we ask O Devi, in the like manner the light dispels the darkness of night, so may the darkness of our ignorance be replaced by the light of spiritual wisdom. To this Mahalakshmi, we join in humble salutations. Om Namo Astute. Ramyam Sushobhanam Divyam Sarvasaukhyaakaram Shubham Siddhasanam Chamaya Raptam Dhyana Parameshwari Mangajalam Samanitam Varkakshasitam Snanam Deva Devi Vidyartam Pratvedam Yevi Visaktasmayukti Yagyasama Samadhi Salvarnam Pradidevi Vasasti Pratilvedam Brahma Vishnu Nisham Yamatam Brahmashudam
जगत जननी है कल्याणी हे भव भामिनी शरणम जगत जननी हे कल्याणी हे भव भामिनी शरणम सारी तेरे नाम से चलती अंधियारे हरम हे कल्याणी हे भव भामिनी विनती सुनो दुख दूर करो करुणा सागर शरणम विनती सुनो दुख दूर करो करुणा सागर शरणम दीप जला दो धन बरसा दो दीप जला दो धन बरसा दो लक्ष्मी शरणम लक्ष्मी शरणम जगन्नाथी कल्याणी हे भवानी शरणम सारी तेरे नाम से चलती अंधियारे हरम सुनो दुख दूर करो करुणा सागर शरणम सुनो दुख दूर करो करुणा सागर शरणम दीप जला दो धन बरसा दो दीप जला दो धन बरसा दो लक्ष्मी शरणम लक्ष्मी शरणम जगन्नाथी कल्याणी हे भवानी शरणम सारी तेरे नाम से चलती अंधियारे हरम हे जगत जननी है कल्याणी हे भव भामिनी शरणम
Last milestone, we join to glorify Mahalakshmi. Om Mahalakshmi Hari Kripa Karoli Hari Devas Mahalakshmi Namastuvyam Namastuvyam Sareshwari Hari Namastuvyam Namastuvyam Dayani Om Yari Sarveshwari Lakshmi Samsata Namastasye Namastasye Namaste, Namo Namah. Namaste, 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 Namo Namah. Prem Sulasi Mahalakshmi Mata Ki Jai. Sharanam Prabhu. We offer praises now to Sri Navgraha Devata, the energy that is in the planets in our solar system that can be both positive or negative. Negative causes some difficulties in life, illnesses and bad luck and so on. The positive, of course, makes us progress, and we like the positive to reign supreme. For this reason, we offer him praises to Navgraha today. Should there be any negative energy flow, then by your guidance, O Bhagavan, we'll be able to recognize them and approach them in a manner that is fit to remove them. Especially for those of our members who may be ill, who may be suffering in some way or the other from the negative effects, we ask Bhagavan to be the guide for these people as well. Make them whole, make them well, that they may once more be able to join their homes and their families and be contributing members. Especially today, we pray for Srimati Janki Samaru, Srimati Anjani Ramphal, Srimati Harde Ramprasad, Sriman Roy Sankar, Sriman Muneswar Budan, Srimati Yolanda Bowen, Srimati Ramrati Lildhar, Srimati Pulvasi Bisnath, and I have a new addition here for now. Maharani Kaulesar, that is Annette's mother, 90 years old. I think she fell down on a weekend. Was in hospital for a couple of days, but I think she's home now. Right?
Yeah, she's home.
She's home, good. So at 90 at home, that's good. She's doing well.
91 next week.
So these people, and of course you may know some others who may not be on our list, but who may need a little more love and well thoughts towards them. And we ask you to think of them as well as we join in these. We pray for peace in the heavenly regions, peace in the atmosphere, peace upon the earth, as it affects all of our lives. A universal prayer for the welfare of mankind. Om Brahma Murari Sripurantakari Manusha Shri Bhumi Sutramudhasya Gurusya Suprashami Rauketu Sarve Graha Shanti Karavantu Sarve Graha Shanti Karavantu Prem Sulasi Navgraha Devata Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu. Once again, with the flowers in the hand, we meditate on Mahavishnu, Vishnu, the all-pervasive Bhagavan, who becomes manifest from time to time and age to age, for the benefit of humankind, by whose grace and blessings the dumb speaks, the lame walks, the blind sees. The impossible becomes possible. Today we are asking, O Bhagavan, in the same way become manifest in the world for man's benefit, may become manifested in my heart, be the guide of my intellect, guiding me in the path of truth, of dharma, of righteousness, and religion, the path that leads to welfare here as well as the hereafter. For this Mahavishnu, we join in humble salutations. Om Swashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam Sapita Vastram Swasniyo Veshanam Swaharakshastakostuvasvayam Namani Vishnu Shivasvajakurjanam Om Mukam Karoti Vajanam Mangulam Vertigirim Yatugurmatamam Vande Paramanandamadam Om Nilambujasamal Komalangam Sita Samarupitamanamagam Panomasaika Charuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase श्रीमत्सपदभूषितम् गोविन्दं गोकुलानन्दम् ब्रह्माण्डेरपि पूजितम् श्रीमहाविष्णुभगवानुभ्यो नमः नमामि ॐ रम्यं सुशोभनं दिव्यं सर्वसौख्याकरं शुभम् आसनं च मया रक्तं परमेश्वर गंगाजलं समानीतं सुवर्णकलशे स्थितं
बनवारी रे जीने का सारा तेरा नाम रे मुझे
Well, we don't have Sham here today, so I guess I'll be doing a glorification bhajan. This is easy now. Rama Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari Panduranga 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 Rama Krishna Hare Bhagwan ki jai, Sharanam Prabhu. I know you guys are all used to the old tune. This is different. I'm looking for different things all the time. Make it more interesting, right? Same rice and dal every day, you get tired of it, you know. You need a little bit of chutney inside once in a while. Alright. With flowers in hand once again. We meditate on Bhagwan Shiva. Shiva symbolizing the reabsorbing aspect of divinity. Atman becomes merged into Paramatman when self-realization is achieved. He is called Vardata, the giver of boons, by repeating the Panchakshar mantra Om Namah Shivaya with love, with devotion and puja of Bhagavan Shiva. The sinful tendencies within us, brought on by anger, greed, jealousy, covetousness, hatred, pride, envy, these become burnt in the fires of our devotion. In this manner, we are able to attain purity of thoughts, of words, of deeds, of mind, of intellect, of actions, which are prerequisites for self-realization, by offering puja to Bhagavan Shiva with love, with devotion. I invite you now to sit upright, to cast away the worldly cares. We all have them. Let's put these at the back of the minds for a little while. Meditate on the most pleasing aspect of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is beyond names, beyond forms. The names and the forms are simply tools that we use to help us to keep the mind from wandering. With controlled mind now, thoughts fixed on Bhagavan Shiva in whatever form or name you want to call him, and pour our love of bhakti or devotion to the feet of the Lord. To this Shiva, we join in humble salutations. Om Pashunam Patim Papanasham Paresham Gajendrasya Kritim Vasanam Varenam Jata Juta Madhye Surad Gangavarim Mahadevanekam Smarami Smaranim Om Mahesham Suresham Suraratinasham Vibhum Vishwanatham Vibhutyandabhusham Tirumachamadvarekavanitrinetam Saranandamine Prabhu Panchavakram Om Girisham Ganesham Dale Neelavarnam Gajendra Girudam Gunathidarupam Bhavasvaram Bhasmara Bhushitam Bhavani Karakam Bhaje Panchavakram Om Shivakanta Shambho Shashankar Kamale Mahesham Shulim Jatajutadharim Tvameko Jagat Vyapako Vishwarupa Prasidam Prasidam Prabhu Purnarupam Om Namaste Namaste Vibho Vishwamurte Namaste Namaste Chiranandamurte Namaste Namaste Tapayogamyam Namaste Namaste Shrutiyanagam Om Prabhu Shulapani Vibho Vishwanath Mahadeva Shambho Mahesha Trinetra Shivakanta Shanta Smarane Purane Varanyo Varenyo Namanyo Nagamya Varanyo Varenyo Namanyo Nagamya Om Sri Shiv Shankara Bhagwanabhyo Namaha Namami Om Ramyam Sushobhanam Divyam Sarvasaukhyakaram Shubham Asanam Cha Maya Daktam Vyarna Shiva Shankaram Om Namostu Neelagrivayam Sahasrakshaya Vidushe Atvaye Asya Satvano Antebhyo Karam Namaha Om Triambakam Yajamale Sudharmim Pushtivarnam Gurvarukmiva Bardhanam Mrityurukshyamanam Om Varnasyotam Varmasi Varunasya Skam Sarjanisto Varunasya Retsadanyasti Varunasya Retsadanyasi Varunasya Retsadanyasi Padyam Argyam Achmanyam Snanam Sri Shiv Shankar Bhagavan Pujanam Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya मया कृतं स्नापनं देव देवेश विहार शिव शंकरं क्षीरस्नानं श्री शिव शंकर भगवान पूजनम् ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः ओम पंचामृतम् सर्वशुद्धालो मणिवालस्ताश्विना शक्ताशेताक्षरमस्ते रूपा पशुपते कर्मण्यामा अविलिप्ता रौद्रा नमो रूपा पारजन्य गंगा जल स्नानम श्री शिव शंकर भगवान पूजनम् ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः प्रेम से श्री शिव शंकर भगवान की जय शरणं प्रभु
ऐसा याद तेरी नाय कोई पल न बीते ऐसा याद तेरी नाय आते जाते सांस इधर बन महिमा तेरी नाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ऐसा याद तेरी नाय आते जाते सांस इधर बन महिमा तेरी नाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः महाकाल तू काल का जब भंगा माया छाल का नदीश्वर का तब काले तू शुष्का सुधार का बोले तेरी बम 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 सबसे मुक्तिदारे ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ओम ऐसा याद तेरी नाय आते जाते सांस इधर बन महिमा तेरी नाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय तू है और धरवानी सब कुछ देने वाला हाथ मेरे प्यासा हमारी प्यारा तू है और घरदार सब कुछ देने वाला खास मेरे प्यासा हारी डाला तेरे अमरूदी दम 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 सारी प्यास बुझाए ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय आते आते साथी घर महिमा तेरी गाए ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय
प्रेम से बोल श्री शिव शंकर भगवान की जय शरणम प्रभु. Once again, we glorify Bhagavan Shiva through the Panchakshara Stotra and the Amar.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bole Shiva Rameshwara, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya, Rameshwara, Shiva Rameshwara, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya, Shiva Rameshwara, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Hare Hare Bole Namah Shivaya
Satchakapana Shariram Ujake Vishayopabodharachanam Vikrasamadhishtiti Sanchara Parayopadakshina Vidik Stotrani Sarvagiro Yanyat Karam Karomi Jagat Kilam Shambho Tavaradhanam Om Karasharam Kritam Va Kayajam Karmajam Va Savanayajam Va Manasam Va Pradam Vihitam Va Sarvamitaksham Asva Jai Jai Karmadev Shri Mahadev Shambho Jai Jai Karmadev Shri Mahadev Shambho प्रेम से बोल श्री शिव शंकर भगवान की जय शरणम प्रभु. All right, we'll take prasadam from those who have brought. We don't have a lot of musicians, singers here today. We have the musician who is good. That's good. But we can repeat and fill up the time while the Shiva Abhishekam is going on. Not much prasad today either, so we'll be finished pretty fast. So we'll fill it up with the music.
खाना कंदया नंदे लाला होवले वाला खाना कंदया नंदे लाला होवले वाला से बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू बने कंदया नंदे लाला होवले वाला से बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू बने देखो और पिंडारे कैसे रास रचाए कैसे तान सुनाए सगपट सगल बिसराए आता हो चले जीने नाना होली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरलिया जादू बने ओ खाना कंदया नंदे लाला होली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरलिया जादू बने राधे कृष्ण मुरारी गोविंद गिरिधरे वाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू बनी ओ आया कन्हैया लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू बनी मांगने छोड़ दुलारा जगत सबका प्यारा मन मोहन मन पावन नाम तेरा जग सारा मुरली माला ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू बनी ओ खाना कन्हैया लाला ओ मुरली माला ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू बनी मुरलिया जादू बनी मुरलिया जादू बनी
काम क्रोध और लोभ तुम्हारा जगत न आया जब जब राम ने जन्म लिया तब तब पाया बनवास तब तब पाया बनवास काम क्रोध और लोभ तुम्हारा जगत न आया तब जब राम ने जन्म लिया तब तब पाया वनवास तब तब पाया वनवास कलयुग तक चलती आई है सतयुग की ये भी कलयुग तक चलती आई है सतयुग की ये भी सब कुछ हार चुके जब अपना तब ही राम के जी युग बदले पर बदल न पाया अब तक ये जब जब राम ने जन्म लिया तब तब पाया बनवास तब तब पाया बनवास छोड़ के अपने महल तो महल जंगल जंगल फिरना छोड़ के अपने महल तो महल जंगल जंगल फिरना औरों के सुख चैन की खातिर सुख संकट के गिरना है यही राम की कह रेखा आ गया अब विश्वास जब जब राम ने जन्म लिया तब तब पाया बनवास तब तब पाया बनवास राम हर एक जग में आई पर कौन उन्हें पहचाना राम हर एक जुग में आई पर कौन उन्हें पहचाना राम की पूजा की जग में पर राम का अर्थ न जाना तकते तकते बूंदे हो गई धरती और आकाश। जब जब राम ने जन्म लिया तब तब पाया वनवास, तब तब पाया वनवास। काम क्रोध और लोभ तुम्हारा जग न आया। जब जब राम ने जन्म लिया तब तब पाया वनवास, तब तब पाया वनवास, तब तब पाया वनवास।
भाई मलखा मलखा राम नाम की महिमा गाए रे, महिमा गाए रे। भाई मलखा मलखा राम नाम की महिमा गाए रे, महिमा गाए रे। सांसों की डोरी में डोरी, सांसों की डोरी में डोरी। वीर मंदाई भाई मलखा मलखा राम नाम की महिमा गाए रे, महिमा गाए रे। भाई मलखा मलखा राम नाम की महिमा गाए रे, महिमा गाए रे। प्राणों की भगत का मेला, नैनों की यमुना का लीला, नैनों की यमुना का लीला। ये अलबेला गीत नीत बनती गाइए, महिमा गाइए रे, महिमा गाइए रे। भाई मलखा मलखा राम नाम की महिमा गाइए रे, महिमा गाइए रे। फूट न छाई धीरे धीरे, फूट न छाई धीरे धीरे। पलक बचाते बजुड़ मझीरे, पलक बचाते बजुड़ मझीरे। राम नाम का पावन हीरा क्यों चढ़ाई रे, महिमा गाई रे, महिमा गाई रे। भाई मलखा मलखा राम नाम की महिमा गाई रे, महिमा गाई रे। चिन्ह चपते चिन्ह चिन्ह की माला, चिन्ह चपते चिन्ह चिन्ह की माला। कभी अंधेरा कभी उजाला, कभी अंधेरा कभी उजाला। रावण की फांसी राम खिलाई रे महिमा गाई रे महिमा गाई रे भाई मन का राम नाम की महिमा गाई रे महिमा गाई रे महिमा गाई रे महिमा गाई रे
श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है प्यारा नाम है तेरा प्यारा नाम है प्यारा नाम है तेरा प्यारा नाम है श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है कोई कहे वसुदेव निरंजन कोई कहे नंदलाला कोई कहे नंदलाला कोई कहे वसुदेव निरंजन कोई कहे नंदलाला कोई कहे नंदलाला श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है गोपति ने जब तुझे पुकारा सारी आन बनाई सारी आन बनाई गोपति ने जब तुझे पुकारा सारी आन बनाई सारी आन बनाई मानो के सब देखो ताना आगन मिसरी खाई आगन मिसरी खाई श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है यमुना तट पर नंदलाला मुरली मधुर बजाई मुरली मधुर बजाई यमुना तट पर नंदलाला मुरली मधुर बजाई मुरली मधुर बजाई नाम को लेकर विष्णु की कर देखो मीरा भाई देखो मीरा भाई श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है प्यारा नाम है तेरा प्यारा नाम है प्यारा नाम है तेरा प्यारा नाम है श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है श्री राधे गोविंदा गोपाला तेरा प्यारा नाम है।
Thank you, Amarji.
Aren't you singing?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay, good.
Put your song in, man. Still got time.
That was his.
That was it.
That was it. Yeah. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we miss Ronnie here today, so she will put on in there. So bring her right on the Gordon Boss Steel on in there, but she's not here either, so I'm not gonna sing for her, okay? I did my one already, that's enough. Now, family and friends, once again, it's time for Pravachan. So hopefully today we'll finish a little bit early. Every time I say that, we end up going late. So we'll see. But,
We have the extra time, do the remind.
yeah, we'll do that. But I want to once again welcome everyone who have gathered here today, as well as those who are joining us online. I hope you've enjoyed. I really enjoyed the music today, and the songs are all wonderful and appropriate. I have to compliment my charges here with the effort they've put into putting everything over so nicely. And I hope that the people at home are enjoying it too. It's a time of devotion. Sunday morning, all of us, whether you go to temple or not, we all enjoy spending some time in the company of Bhagavan, trying to try to reach out to him and to try to ask him to come into our hearts and be the guide for us as we make our way through this very, very rough time in life, actually. Man's nature, of course, is to be together. And here we have now Mr. Omicron, who's going to put a damper on all of us once again. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell you. It's too early to say. But
I hope we don't have another lockdown Friday.
I know it's not going to happen.
I hope we don't.
That's not going to happen. But we all have to be careful. Those of us who have been vaccinated, I congratulate you. You will not get sick enough to go into the hospital. That's the main thing. If you have not and you've been resisting, and that goes for everyone, seriously consider what you're doing. Not only are you trying to harm yourself, but to others as well who may get it from you. So please, be careful, take the vaccine. There's nothing wrong, the science is there. If the science says it's good, it's good. You don't have to doubt anything. This is not a political decision that we gotta make, this party says this and that party says that. This is for our own health, and we have to take care of that, because if you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you. Just remember that. So once again, we are in this situation, and once again, we're looking for inspiration. Inspiration from our text as to how to approach this life that we've been blessed with, which we are responsible for, and which we have to use this body of ours to take us to the next stage of realization, the next stage of awakening, if you want to call it that. And we're all on this process together. We cannot afford to be non-vigilant. We have to be vigilant at all times if we want to make spiritual use of the body that we've been blessed with, so we can get to the next stage that we all want to. Ramcharitmanas only directs the way, points the way. But after pointing, what do? You ignore it to your own detriment, or you follow it to your own gain. You have to make a choice. Everybody makes their own choice. We think we're here forever, if you think about it. Nobody think they're going to one day leave this worldly plane. We all think we're going to be here for the next 200-300 years. It's a fool's dream. We all know that. If we make 70, 80 even, we're doing well. 90, we're doing really well. And 100, well, you've done excellent. There's no better than that. At the same time, hopefully we all have our wits about us when that happens, and we're able to move the old joints. because these old joints wear out too fast. I don't think the body has been designed for the kind of time we're putting in. It's strain we've been putting it through as well. If you think about it, eventually the body itself breaks through. No matter how well we live, no matter how well we eat, no matter how much exercise we do, it still breaks them. Because it's designed for a length of time only. Let's make use of that length of time. That's why we read from the Sri Ramcharitmanas, because Sri Ram has been placed in every possible position you can think that you will ever be in. All of us. And yet he has come out of those situations in a way that leaves us all wanting to do the same thing. You may say, oh, this is a historical thing, it happened a long time ago. We don't have the same kind of life now. Believe me, life has not changed that much. We still eat every day, we still sleep every day, we still go to the bathroom every day, we still shower every day, hopefully. If you don't, that's another thing. But the stuff we do every day continues to be done. It was done then and it's still being done today. So it's not like it's something new for us. It's not. But what makes us different, of course, is how we go about removing and making transparent the chitta wherein all of our karma is stored. This is what life is about. Because all of us are performing karma, by thought, by word, by deed. Everybody does. But not everybody does the same. We don't think the same way. We don't speak the same way. And we certainly don't act the same way. So everybody is different from each other in that sense. The intellect we've been blessed with, everybody has intellect. But unless you train it properly, intelligence is not there. So we need to put in as much intelligence as we can in that head of ours. Because that intellect, the buddhi, is going to help us all to become clear-minded and achieve clarity as well. Our mind is not the same because the thoughts that flow out of it is not the same. Everybody is different in the mind. And one thing I have to advise is don't hold grudges against each other, please. If you have a difference of opinion, that's all it is, a difference of opinion. You state it and you move on. If you hold that grudge there forever, guess who's going to suffer? Yourself. The other people may be totally unaware of that grudge. So you hold it, you're carrying this burden with you all the time. Wash it away, shed it. And of course, let me not tell you about the ahamkar, the ego. And this is where we are at. Our entire past since Vijay Dashmi has been on one thing only, how to bring that ego into control. And this is where we are at now, because Atma is the same, body is the same. That's those four things, the Sukshma Sharir, which is between there. Each one of us is different. Let's try to make it transparent enough. Because when realization dawns, all the effects of that karma is gone too. All the effects of the thinking is gone too. The mind becomes pure as well. That's what clarity does. That's what realization does. Let's all try to achieve it. You know, there's a course that you can actually do for this, but it's not readily available. If we follow that course from the time we are about 5 years old, by 2025, we can become realized. But you got to put the effort in, and the same way you do your schoolwork, you have to do that. Now, does anybody want to do that course? That's the next question. Life is too wonderful. Nobody wants to do it. But there is much more than life being wonderful, earthly life, worldly life. Spiritual life is even more wonderful because the taste of nectar is in you all the time. In all of us. To get there is a problem. I've lost my train this time already. But hopefully when I come back next time, I'll be placed in a situation where I can actually do this. I don't know that. Maybe Bhagwan has some other mission for me, as he does for all of us. But each one of us has to complete our mission in one way or another. When the mission is completed, then we've achieved what we set out to do. So picking up where Tulsidas left off, let's join in Pratna first. Lokabhiramam Ganaram Rajivanetram Raghuvanshanacham Karunyarupam Karunakarantam Shri Ramachandram Sharanam Vapate Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram So when we left off the last time, the four of them, Ram, Sita, Lakshman, and Sumantra, had all taken a dip in the Ganges at that point where they had come, near String Vedapur. And of course, at that time, like my friend Shanta, they keep reminding me, at least the river was a lot less polluted at that time. And now, of course, to do this, we have to go way up in the north somewhere where the stream is fresh, without the pollution of the cities going into it. So all of us who visit India from time to time, be careful when you get to, because usually you end up with Varanasi, and there the river is already polluted. But people go in anyway. The dead body floats right by you.
That's very true. It's not only dead body, other stuff too.
Yeah. Is that so, Shanta? You've been there?
Yes, I
See?
see that.
So I've heard this and I was wondering, I wonder how people can manage that, because we see the dead here and you go to the funeral home and people know why you want to go there. But they're afraid of the dead body. You need to be afraid of the living, not the dead. Okay, the dead can't do anything, but the living can. So stop being fearful of the dead. You know, Hindus come up with this idea of being afraid of death. Why? It's our closest friend. It never leaves your side. Not one time, not for a minute, not for a second. It's with you all the time.
So they put the dead body in the water.
They burn it first, the body is scarred, and sweep it into the river. That's what they do. Am I right?
Yes,
Take the, all the ashes.
The
People from here take the ashes there.
Yeah, no, but that's
Sometimes all boy is not completely born.
No, it's not completely burned, it's scarred only.
Just halfway born.
Here we make sure they're burned fully, but there
Yeah.
the culture is different. Anyway, we're not going to delve into that at this time. If you talk to me afterwards, I can enlighten you a little bit more from what I know. But we pick up where, having completed the bath, Tulsidas writes in the Sri Ramcharitmanas, go on. Shuddha Sri Ram, the banner of the solar race, who is untainted, who is the untainted source of being, of existence, of consciousness, of bliss, Satchidanand, performs actions similar to those of a human being. Now why? Why would he do this? And the answer is so simple. By doing this, he sets the example for each of us to follow, and which constitute a bridge across this ocean of death and birth, of birth and death. Now think of the greatness of this statement that Tulsidas has made here. Sri Ram, who is untainted by all things, who is the source of being, of consciousness, of bliss, of happiness, of knowing, of knowledge, of existence, performs those actions that you and I would do. Taking a bath, which we should do every day, by the way. Okay? So here, Tulsidas is making a wonderful statement for all of us. Why? Because he wants to set the bar so that every human being can come to self-realization, because he brings an end to this birth and death cycle. And all of us are looking for the very same thing. Like it or not, we're all on the same path. We may not make it in one go, but if you have an opportunity to make it at one go, why don't you? Life is good, yes, I agree. And I'd be happy to come back here again, learn more lessons. Nothing is wrong in that. Wanting to be reborn again is not a problem. And liberation is assured for every single human being, no matter what your belief system is. Every single one will eventually become liberated. But if everybody became liberated, who's going to live on the planet? Who's going to learn their lessons of life? We need to be here. Bhagavan has made such a wonderful system. Think about what we are made of, for instance. The entire cosmos is made of the same thing. Nothing is different. The model of the atom, which we all know so well, where we have a nucleus made up of proton and neutron, and we also have, of course, electrons going around. Similarly, we have a nucleus in the cosmos, and everything is going around that nucleus. The force of Bhagavan is the energy, the equilibrium energy that makes everything move around. That force is always there, that energy is always there. Continuing, Chopin. मुझे तभी प्रिया बंधु बुलाए जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम It's a buddy it's a buddy Now in that area there, Guha, the Nishad leader, village leader, joyfully called together his friends and his family, his kinfolk, and taking gifts of fruit, of roots, of bulbs, filled in panniers slung across their shoulders, he went out to meet Sri Ram with infinite joy in his heart. Now, every time there is a visit from Sri Ram to some part of the forest, there's always someone who knows who he is. These are saintly people who have taken their janam, their birth, so they can come and offer worship to Bhagavan to purify themselves with him. And this is a road we are on, my friends. We all want to recognize, to be able to see. Now, we're not going to see Bhagavan in form here, but we can realize him in our heart. And this is why Guha is setting another example for devotees here. And what does he bring? You know, it's a wonderful thing when you think of the tradition that we all follow. The tradition is very simple. What he brings gifts of fruit, of bulbs, and of roots. Now think of what these things represent. You know, up to this day, every time you give the Brahmin a seed, what do you put inside?
Potato.
Only potato. That's the root.
Rice.
You put the bulb, you put the fruit. The rice is a symbol of the fruit. The bulb is the onion and the garlic and the other stuff you might put in there. Some people put baigan and so too. So
Split peas.
and split peas as well, yeah. So we all we continue that very same tradition up to this very time. This is a very old thing. Because you want to give a person a meal, you want to make sure that the meal is going to be complete. It has to have the fruit, it has to have the root, it has to have the bulb, and the leaves as well. Why? Because we continue to exist along the same lines as vegetarians especially. This is what they eat. And they have to obtain their protein from there as well, so you include some nuts in it if you give it that way. That works out well. Right?
But
You
if
never
they
thought-
give something to drink, he's not going to eat.
Yeah, you put milk inside, you put a can of milk inside. Alright, so we continue to do that up to this time. You see, this man has brought it, and this is not the only time. This happens every single time Sri Ram visits some one of his devotees in the forest. Every time he does that, these are the very same things that come out for the family. And we continue to do that up to this time. So you see how important it is that we make those siddhas offering. You're giving somebody a meal. Meal is an important part because meal is a symbol of life itself. Think of what will happen if you didn't eat. The first day you might be okay. Even the second day. Third day too. Then you begin to feel hungry. But you keep that hunger going for a little bit longer, and guess what happens? You go crazy. The sugar gets low, and you stop thinking right. The next thing you know, you want to eat the person you see there. So fasting is not an easy thing. So if you're going to give somebody a meal, make sure you give them a good meal. Alright? If you want to make a siddha, make it with everything in it. And this is the tradition that we've grown up in. This is a tradition that our foreparents have passed on to all of us. And this they continue to do, and that's why in the time of Pitri Paksha and so on, food offering is the most important thing you can do. And that is our way of showing gratitude to our foreparents for teaching us how to grow the food, how to till the land, how to fertilize the soil. All these things passed on to us is what make life today what it is. Think about it. So with that in mind, Guha has shown us what we need to do. Give me a second here, I'll fix this one. I think I put my foot on the cable there, that's all. I get old like me, I'll see you. There, yeah. So Guha has set this example for us here to remind us. So with infinite joy in his heart, he went to to meet with Sri Ram. We continue next chapter. And how does he greet Sri Ram? Full prostration of the body. Put down his offerings before Sri Ram and gaze at him with the utmost love in his heart. And overcome by spontaneous affection, Sri Ram took him by the hand and seated him next to him. And my friend, this is an emotional thing here for a minute. Let me just clear my sinus a little bit. This is the time for sinus, you know. But this is the most wonderful thing that you can think of. Sri Ram, king, poor villager, comes up with so much love. What does he do? He holds him by the hand and puts him to sit next to him. Can you imagine this? What is that telling us? When we have love in our heart, our nearness to Bhagavan becomes complete. That's when the self-realization begins. And unless this bhakti is there, it's not going to happen.
भाव जब पूरा भाव होता है तब
The bhakti bhav got to be there, it's true. Thank you for reminding me of that. But this got to be there. And that is not, we keep hearing all the time, and I'm going to finish with this thought here today, I think, because we can't go further. We keep hearing all the time. All I have to do is sing bhajans, and that is enough bhakti. It doesn't work that way. There are 4 types of yoga that Bhagavan has put forward to us. Starting with Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga. These 4 have to be practiced, and Bhakti is the highest of all of them. But unless you have Jnana, you will never have Bhakti. Unless you do the karma and serve each other, you will never have Bhakti. Unless you practice some meditation, you will never have Bhakti. This is the Bhakti that we talk about. You gotta know, you gotta do, you gotta practice, and then the Bhakti comes within our heart. We're told to love each other because Bhagavan is present in each of us equally. And He is. But what do we see? We only see the bad things that the other person may have. And they might not be bad to him, they might be bad to us. We see what we want to see. And we have to stop doing that. We got to see what exists. Everybody, no 2 person does the same thing alike. So if you don't like it the way one person is doing it, ask them to do it in your way. And if it doesn't work that way, then accept it. That's the way, their way. My way is different. But doesn't mean we shouldn't coexist. And this is where the problem comes. You see, all over the world, the world is only one, We have only one world. But we have many nations. And each one think they only have the right to stay here. They should own the earth. It doesn't work that way. We've all been put here for lessons in life that will help us to eventually achieve self-realization. But we're not approaching it like that. We have little petty things that we bring up all the time. This is why husbands can't get along with wives, because they may make one criticism, which might be good for both of them. But the other one takes offense, and what happens? There is a problem. And doesn't matter which one. I tell you, husbands, most of them are lazy, by nature. They think they're earning, they go and bring it home, and they should put their feet up like Rajas and sit up. No, you gotta help out with every aspect of life. You gotta help the wife do all the things, I remember when I was growing up, I was young then, I didn't even know how to boil water.
No guy in his mind don't know to buy.
Yeah, I know. Because I was never taught by my parents. The girls were taking in the kitchen and showing how to do stuff. For the boys, they're left them on their own. And what happens? Suddenly you find out you have a spouse, and the spouse is depending on you too. Because she has to work, you have to work too. It's not like a one-way thing. So you gotta bunk up together and do the work in your own. Otherwise, nobody will get any rest. You have to work together. This is a togetherness.
But Pandit, sometimes you help and they say you don't do good. So
Well, I'll tell you what happens then. Men deliberately do it wrong, so they'll be chased off.
but supremacy never goes.
They pray that they don't know.
Even if you follow them, you do the same way, better than that, still.
But Pandit, it's true.
Still
When the wife
supremacy
has
is
good
there.
thing, you're really burnt out after a long
I
time.
know, because the wife gets burnt out. You gotta help to do things that you're capable of doing. Step the plates, clean the plates, wash the plates if you can. There are things that you can do. You don't like, maybe she doesn't like how you cook. So you don't put all the proper spices and so in there
So, but you
to
could
bring it up.
vacuum, you could do a little bit.
But there are other things you can do. You can clean up after she's done. Of course, when you cook, things fall on the floor and so on. So you just gotta get a broom and sweep it out so you don't step on it and spread it all over the house. That's a common thing to do. But how many of you think of doing it?
Oh God. It's a miracle. It's a miracle if it happens.
Shriman Galhotra, they think he does it. That's good. I'm glad. That means you and Mrs. Galhotra get along very well. No?
You perfect 3-4 recipes, then they will say, okay, we prepare.
All right. Anyway, look, you still have to help, okay? Show that you're interested in what she's doing. And that she should be showing some interest in what you're doing too. And most wives do, okay? I gotta be honest. They want to see the husband get ahead. So with that in mind, I think I have to bring this to a close at this time. I've said enough for today. Let's close off with a little kirtan here and we'll close. Raghunandan Raghav Ram Hare Siya Prem Sosyapati Ramachandra Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu. Now a while back I was asking you about it's 26th of December. I'm not available and I don't want to get somebody else to come here if nobody is going to show up. Let me see a show of hands how many people want to come. None. So that means no service on that day. Alright, so for those of you who are listening to us on the 26th of December, we will not be meeting here usually, so I will not be online as well. We'll continue the following week, which will be the 2nd of January, with a New Year message and a new year to start everything all over again. So hopefully all of you stay safe during the holiday period. Remember, Omicron is still kind of rabid. We need to bring it under some kind of control. We haven't got rid of the Delta yet, and we got a new one. And this is going to continue until everybody has been vaccinated. And believe me, this is not going anywhere. The new species will come up again and again and again because it has the place to grow. It has the place to mutate. It has the place to expand. And we're giving it that place. Get your vaccine. Get your booster. And if they recommend another booster, get it too. Don't miss out. Alright, and take your flu shot as well, it's important. Alright, so that goes for everybody. Thank you all for being here. I got this young gentleman, Mr. Galhotra, he came a little bit late. I brought some Prasan. Offerings. I got more than that, alright. So bring your stuff over on this side, and we'll set up for the artist singer.
Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaja Hare Bhavo Bhayaru Namakanja Mocha Kanja Mukha Kanja Parakanjaru Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaja Hare Bhavo Bhayaru
Alright, I told you we were going to run what can I say? This is how it works. Now, thanks all for coming again. Let's start party and close.
आरती की जय श्री रघुवर की दशरथ नंदन सीता हरि की आरती की जय श्री रघुवर की दशरथ नंदन सीता हरि की आरती की जय राम राम
I missed one donation to Sunil, $50. Sunil, thank you so much. Much appreciated. The last one song, we join in our closing. Om Shantaram Bhujanashayanam Pavanam Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasarisham Meghavarnam Sudharam Lakshmikantam Kamadhanam Yogivir-Jnana-Gamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavayam Sarvalokaikanatham Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Umar Var Varnam Harshadeva Sriram Parasarojaya Payani Bhakti Sarasata Sangasya Rajaramachandra Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai Pawan Sutra Hanuman Ki Jai Siyama Ramachandra Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu Om Avanam न जानामि विसर्जनम् पूजा चैवा न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वरो द्यौ शान्ति अन्तरिक्षगमं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्ति आत्मा शान्ति औषधय शान्ति वनस्पति शान्ति विश्वदेव शान्ति ब्रह्मा शान्ति सर्वं शान्ति शान्तिरेवा शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेवी सुशान्तिर्भवतु ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम् प्रेम से श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय शरणं प्रभु